We heard about a week or so ago that XFL and CFL talks were ceasing for the time being, and that was after the announcement that the XFL is not going to come back until 2023. So there's a lot of moving parts here, especially when you consider the USFL, which is trying to come back next spring. I wonder if the XFL 3.0 is just going to get off the ground, what it is going to look like, and will the CFL be involved at all? I think that this CFL season is going to tell us a lot about how it is going to be going forward in its relationship with the XFL. What do you think?
As far as the conversations, I mean, doesn't the CFL season start next month?
It does.
So if you're about a month and a half away from the season starting, I really don't think that the players, the staff, and everybody up that just basically got a comeback and they thought that this league could potentially be destroyed due to financial difficulty. I don't think they want to hear about the negotiation parts because of everything else going on. It's like we just got back, we just leave negotiating for a little while. I mean, I don't think it's ever going to be off the table. I think it's going to be stuff that's going to be pushed for probably another year, probably wait until the off season, then get into negotiations again. And as far as what the terms would be on both sides, it's still definitely just it's just vague. It's not cut and dry. We don't know what they would negotiate over.
Yeah, that's a
Or,
good point.
or
Could it
come
be
more towards
players? Is
rules,
it going to be a merger with various rules? There's so many different things.
rules changes, money, player rights. I mean, I've always thought about I've always wondered how come there's not like a minor league of the NFL in case somebody gets hurt. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's kind of one of those things because a lot of people are like, oh, well, minor league teams need money and everything else, right? Well, it kind of goes like this: if the NFL had a minor league team, right? Like let's say if it was a pools of X amount of guys, X amount of teams, right? Let's say one team, because their star quarterback gets hurt, says, hey, I want to buy the rights and buy this contract, which gives that minor league team X amount of dollars from an NFL team. And that guy makes his way, you know, to practice and he gets suited up and it goes from there. I think it would be exciting. It would be cool one day, but, probably never going to happen. But I've always wondered about how the NFL, XFL, and CFL would work. And a lot of people want to treat it like three different organizations. And I get that. But I'm saying if there is a partnership to some degree, even if it's just CFL and XFL, I actually just think it would just be good for the players and the fans.
Perhaps. And with that, if you had a partnership with CFL, XFL, if the seasons were at different times than having players play in both leagues just to get more reps, it could happen, though if the rules are different, you wonder how beneficial that would be. Certainly for some positions, it would be more significant than others. Quarterbacks, wide receivers, but for offensive linemen per se, you're going between those two leagues, it may not matter as much. So there also were rumors about the Toronto Argonauts, your team, potentially moving to the XFL. I think that's a little hasty.
I think that's a stretch because it's like, hey, if you grew your fan base in the CFL, right? Because I think it might be one of those things where, I mean, would you give up everything and leave your roots behind of just the culture, the money, and everything else? I mean, to me, that would be almost the equivalent of the Chargers leaving San Diego and none of the fans wanted it.
That's a good point, but
That's
Maple
the
Leafs,
closest comparison to it. I mean, just terrible.
yeah, Maple Leaf Sports Entertainment owns the Argos, and I don't know how devoted they are to the sort of grassroots parts of the CFL. Seems like they would be more likely to go chasing the money than ownership of maybe the Stampeders or other Western Conference CFL teams would be.
Hmm.
But
Well,
Dwayne Johnson also talked about growing the XFL internationally, so going into Canada, it could be an option. I also don't know if he would try and popularize more Canadian rules in the United States. Somehow, I just don't think that was his aim when he bought the league, but
no,
he could
I
try
don't see it
something.
because as far as the rules are concerned, I think all the rules in place for the XFL. Love the extra points. I love the fact that there is a sky judge. I loved regular four. I love the four downs. The only thing that concerned me a little bit, not so much field position wise, because when somebody has a touchback, they go three and out, and then they punt, and they're basically end up at the 40-yard line somewhere. It's like, okay, whatever. The only thing that I found a little weird and I wasn't unsure about, I couldn't make a ruling, was the kickoff rule, where a guy's in a way back and the defenders and the kicking team are, 5 yards apart? Something stupid like that.
It was 5 or 10.
Yeah. The kickoff was the only thing I have a problem with, but that's been a topic that's been debated for quite a number of years now. And there's some people that want the kick return removed completely.
Yes, there are. Personally, I thought it was a unique touch that the return team was so close, but maybe 20 yards away would be better. But yeah, there's so many concussions that happened on those plays because you had guys with a full field of momentum running at each other. So,
Just to be fair though, you say 20 yards, right?
mm-hmm,
If you think about it, an onside kick, those defenders on the line of the ball are 10 yards away.
that's true, but those don't
Technically,
happen very often.
yes, but I'm just saying technically even the onside kick is dangerous.
Well, it's all dangerous,
Oh
but
yeah.
my point is you wanted more spacing than just having the return defense more than 5-10 yards away. So I think 20 could
I
be a
I just think that the
compromise.
format of the kickoff, I just didn't know what to feel about it. I mean, part of me says I get it, it's something new, but part of me said stupid at the same time. I think it could be adjusted. I just don't know how. That's the hardest part, is because we've seen the regular kickoff for a long time, and then it's like, okay, we're gonna move this so there's less contact here. It's mostly gonna be touchbacks or whatever. And then it just goes to a point where what the XFL did, and that is reinvent the wheel. It's hard to reinvent the wheel.
It's true. I think that the XFL was on the right track with it. Not to mention, if you break past the initial line of defense, there's a lot more potential to have kickoff return touchdowns. So that adds
True.
that element back into the game. Something we've really missed since Dante Hall and Devin Hester were doing it
Hey,
almost on a weekly basis.
if you want kick returns, I got a good one for you. How about we put it at the 20-yard line and then you boot it?
Well, that'd certainly allow for more returns, but then the players' union would not be happy because of the increased injuries and all that, which they fought so hard to get it moved. So that's why the XFL decreased the distance.
Oh boy. But rules aside, and we'll see what the XFL comes up with. I know we're calling it a 3.0 because COVID got involved and demolished everything, but we shall see.
Yep. I'm also curious just to think of how the XFL 3.0 will sort of be marketed. You know, with Dwayne Johnson at the helm, is it going to be more of a league or like more of an event? Would it have the aesthetic of like WWE or something like that? Just like tonight, XFL. Or is it going to be like the NFL that doesn't put that kind of emphasis on it? Just like, hey, week 1, then week 2, then week 3.
You mean more? You mean treat it more? It's like instead of like a special event, treat it like it's you're a member of a club.
I'm not quite sure what you mean by that.
As in, like, hey, join our club. Hey, you excited? You doing anything?
I'm still not 100% sure what you're getting at, but maybe I should have rephrased that and thought like single event or like the season is the event. Maybe that makes more sense.
Okay, yeah, okay, yes. I gotta take the season as an event. Also, I just got breaking news from this was NFL update. It's now Ari I think it's Merov, simply because he joined the Pro Football